I'll show you. Wave, guys.
In order to graduate from the University of Florida or any Florida State Institute, you must take 9 summer credit hours at a Florida State Institute. That doesn't include, like I said, anything out of state. So my mission here at this speech is going to be to persuade you guys, or to persuade the state of Florida to change this rule, but I want to persuade you guys to make a stance and make a change. My credibility, I'm a student here at the University of Florida, obviously a Florida State Institute, and I've been through this process a few times of trying to select summer classes and everything, and I have to have 9 summer credit hours in order to graduate, okay? I also have talked to a lot of friends who go here or a Florida State Institute and who are not in favor of this rule, okay? So, summary of the main points here, we're going to talk about how the rule hinders students / what does the rule do. We're also going to talk about a solution, and the final step will be a visualization / call to action. Okay, so how exactly does this rule hurt students? Well, the first one is internships. Everybody knows that in the summer, students want to have internships. Well, if you're taking classes, that can really affect your time with your internship, especially if you have to go to a class. The next one is family. People want to go home in the summer to see their family because they don't really get to see them much, especially if they live far away from home while they're at college. And that's going to affect your personal well-being if you cannot see your family most of the year because you also have to take summer credits. The second one here, and this is from study.com, is the jobs. It says, some places you would rather work at might not even hire you because of your inability to work certain hours. That's certainly the case as we see with most classes here, even people trying to get a job during the school year, is that it's a conflict of interest, right? So if you don't have time, they're not going to hire you, and you need to be straight up with them in your interview, so that's going to affect that as well. Okay, and also another one is, how do students learn best? Nowadays, there's all this new technology and people taking online classes and everything. Well, not everyone learns best that way. So if you're forced to take 9 summer credit hours, you might have to take classes online because of maybe you have a job, maybe you want to go home, or maybe you have an internship. And you might have to take online classes, right? Well, if you don't learn best in that environment, you're not going to do very good in that class. Okay? The next one we have here is a statistic from USA Today that says, according to results of a new national research study, 78% of more than 1,000 students surveyed still believe it is easier to learn in a classroom. So that right there tells you that students prefer being in a classroom because of all the other advantages rather than sitting down in front of a computer and teaching themselves essentially. Okay, so another thing that's a disadvantage about taking summer courses is the shorter semesters. You've got a lot to learn, but they're going to cram them into a shorter amount of time. So here at Florida, most of the classes are 6 weeks instead of 12. So when you're taking these shorter semesters, you're also not going to retain the information as well, and you're not going to learn the information as well because you're forced to learn it quicker. And if you're taking multiple classes, let's say you wanted to take that one hard class over summer, but you have to take multiple in order to get the 9 credits, it's going to help you, or it's going to hurt you trying to learn in that class as well. The next thing we have is there's a limited amount of courses. And USA Today College even looked into this, and it's true, is not all amount of the same courses are offered over the summer. You may have to take a certain course, but it's not offered, and if you've got all your general requirements out of the way, you might even be taking a course in the summer that you don't have to take at all because you just need to meet this requirement. So there's another way that it doesn't really help students. My personal experience, I'm from Ohio, so I took a class last year from an Ohio school, and it can't transfer here, but it's back home, and that's how I did it. And there's no difference between that school versus the Florida State Institute. It's still a college, right? So here we have with College Parent Central, it says, quote, college financial aid generally does not cover summer classes as well. And they also looked into this. Financial aid for everyone doesn't cover summer hours, so it's coming straight out of pocket, which a lot of students don't have. The next thing we have here is solution. What can we do about it? So most colleges are going to ask for your feedbacks. Everyone knows the rate my professor, how did this professor teach me? Was it a good method? Everything. They want your feedback, so give it to them. Give it to them in a different way and tell them what you stand up for and what you believe. We need to all align in a group, and we need to make sure our argument is a well-presented, credible argument so that people hear us out well. Because it's not about, everyone wants to change, but if you can't present your information in the proper way, you're never going to get change, and no one's going to want to hear uneducated people, right? So we need to know our information. Okay, so the final thing is, let's think about this if it does go right. If it does go right and we can change this, students are going to have way more advantages in the summer. They're going to be able to take those internships. They're going to be able to go home. They're going to be able to and see their family. They're going to be able to have an actual job. They're going to be able to save money. You know, there's all different kinds of ways that this is going to help students. On the flip side, if we don't get this fixed, the negative is what keeps happening. And as people in today's world need internships and things like that, they're becoming more and more valuable in order to graduate, and you're wasting time by having to come take summer credit hours if you don't need to at all. Okay? The next thing is, the Washington Post says, getting people to go along with the new program often depends on how the change is communicated. And that goes back to, are we educated? Are we credible? How do you present your information? It's not the fact that they don't want to change, it's the fact that can you say that one thing that's going to get them to change their minds and present it in the proper way. And finally here, we have to effectively communicate and paint a picture of our vision and what we want. Okay? We have to make sure it illustrates greatly so that they understand not just the way we think, but the way everyone else thinks about it. Right? And that is the end of my presentation. I'll now open the floor up for any questions.
So when you were talking about the 6 weeks, and it's going to be hard to retain all the information, do you think instead of just doing summer A and summer B, which are both 6 weeks, do you think they should just do one whole summer semester for 12 weeks?
I think people want that. Some people want that, some people don't. Some people can get it done in 6 weeks. Like I said, it just depends on your learning. But it's even if you're taking, at least here at Florida, if you're taking summer C, still not a lot of classes are offered. More are offered in summer A or summer B. So it's we just need to have something that's most effective for students, because a lot of people are here taking classes they don't need to take, but they just need to get the credits, right? So we need to make it in a way that if we're going to take a class in the summer, it's at least effective. And maybe, yeah, I agree with taking summer classes, but I don't think that you should necessarily have to take it out of Florida State Institute. I think you should be able to take it wherever you want. Anyone else?
You can take classes on other, in other schools. If you want to take in the summer, do a class in a community college, you can take it.
Right,
but the
rule here at Florida is that you have to take it out of Florida State Institute.
Right.
You get the credits, but you don't get credits towards the summer hours. You need 9 credit hours out of Florida State Institute. And you won't get credit you'll get the credit from out of state, but it won't count towards the 9. So you still have to take 9 from somewhere in Florida.
Yeah. So you're just arguing outside of state.
Outside of state, and you should be able to take it anywhere if you're going.
Right.
You shouldn't have to take 9 at all in summer. It shouldn't be a requirement. That's just a money grab. But you should be if you're going to have to, it should be able to come from anywhere.
Yeah, it should be convenient to yourself.
Right.
I agree.
Any other questions?